It's been 3 years since I bought my new to me RV. I bought Phoenix 3 years ago in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Picked her up the day after Thanksgiving. All right, let's say goodbye to Matilda. Bye, Matilda.
Nobody gonna do it for you. Got to find your own.
I'm just kind of like looking around and I can't believe it's been 3 years already. I had Matilda for a year and a half, just to give you a little perspective. And relatively few problems in this newer RV. This one's a 2005. Matilda, I think, was a 93. So it's been a really good RV for me. I'm very happy. I thought I would show you around today. I thought we would do a tour of my RV after 3 years of living in it. I know that I did a walkthrough when I bought the RV with the guy that worked at the lot. He showed me all the systems and everything, and I took you along with me on that so that you could see how an RV works. And then I took you with me as I unpacked and as I got set up and as I got organized. But I've been living in it for 3 years now. It is very lived in. I've made some changes. I've tweaked some things to make it more comfortable and user friendly. So I'm gonna give you a tour of my very lived in RV today and show you my humble abode. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to start just by showing you where I put things, what storage looks like in here, and just kind of walk you through from toe to tail. How does that sound? I don't know. No, toe to tail, that made no sense. From nose to tail. I really like my RV to feel as much like a tiny home as I can. So I hang a curtain up from the hand holders up in the front. I just use clamps to hold a curtain in place to cover up the steering wheel and the console and everything up there. And that curtain is what used to go up here, but all of the snaps broke. This is the privacy curtain that comes with it. And so I just bought a plain old curtain at, I don't even think it's a blackout curtain. I just bought this at Walmart, and I use the same clamps just to clamp that up at night for privacy. But during the day, I like to have as much light in. I like to be able to look out the front window, see what's going on outside. So this is a nice way to kind of homey it up a little bit, make it feel more like an apartment in here than that being a vehicle. I don't like necessarily the feeling of living in a vehicle. I really like that it feels like a tiny apartment in here. So that's the first thing I do. Sadie's got a bed up there. She usually doesn't hang out in that too much. Unless we're driving, but she does a little bit. She likes to go check out, see what's going on up there, be my watchdog. And then at night, to completely close this off for privacy and temperature control, to keep hot air up here or cool air up here, I use the original divider, the original privacy curtain for this. Some of the snaps still work on this one. And then up here, of course, I have my storage, and I've got pretty big storage up here. I love the fact that this RV came with this built-in cabinet instead of the overhead bed. It's just so much prettier. I had the overhead bed in Matilda, if you'll remember. It's so much prettier and it's so much better for storage. I have more storage in here, honestly, than I need, and I still need to clean stuff out. I think every year, at least, most RVers at least start looking at stuff and saying, okay, I haven't used that, I haven't touched that, and I did a big clean out last year, but I still think it still might be time for more. And here is mostly office stuff, files, banking, stuff like that. I store extra food in here, stuff that I'm going to be using pretty quick that I don't want to store underneath the seat. And admittedly, this needs to be cleaned out. But you know what? I have plenty of storage, so why bother? And then in here, I added this extra latch on the bottom so that it wouldn't rattle so much when I drive, and it works. Is mostly backpacking gear. This is all backpacking gear. I need to go through that and start giving stuff away too, because I've got 3 sets of backpacking gear. I've got 3 backpacks, 1 tent. I think I have 3 sleeping bags, and then pictures and stuff like that in there. That's just all stuff that I want to keep, but that's a nice giant storage space. And this is just books, which I keep meaning to get rid of. I'm just carrying them around for no reason, and it would be nice to have extra food storage here. So, and then up here is where I keep my shopping bags, so they're easy to grab when I want to go shopping. My shopping bags, my little day pack for when I want to go backpack, or when I want to go for a little day hike, and then all my winter stuff, my hats, my gloves, my binoculars, my flashlights. So everything is up here right next to the door, so easy to grab when I am heading out the door. And then in the middle here, I have this glass door, and I hang my thermometer up here. That's where my inverter is. So that's the only place that I have an extension cord where I can plug in 120. Everything else in here is run on battery. And, well, I mean, that's run on battery too. But I just have cookbooks up there. I store a lot of camera gear up here, and my little shelves, my little drawers here, my little plastic drawers for office stuff and just miscellaneous stuff. This is a little curtain that I bought last year. I was going to use it for a privacy curtain over there, which I'm going to show you in a minute, but I didn't like how it looked there. So I just bought a tension rod and put a tension rod up there, and I love this. At night I close this, and it's just another thing that makes it feel more homey in here and more like an apartment and less like an RV. And yeah, so I like it. So the kitchen, and remember, this is a 15-year-old RV, so everything in here looks pretty old, and it looks pretty lived in, and I don't mind. You know, I don't want to go out and spend money and waste resources on stuff to make it pretty when I don't really care about how it looks. As long as it works, it's fine with me. You know, I think about going and getting a new sink to make the sink look better, but then there's nothing wrong with this one, and I'm trying to live more minimalist than I used to and be more conscious about the things that I consume, the things that I use, and what's going to go into landfills, and what resources are going to be used to make something new that I don't need. I just did a video recently talking about the issues I had with mice, and yeah, I've got some body damage and there's a problem with the roof, but they're fixable. And right away people are like, you need a new RV, and I don't need a new RV. This RV has been very good, and it might look old, it might not look brand new, but you know what, I wouldn't even feel, I've seen the brand new ones with all the fancy stainless steel and the granite countertops. That's not me these days. That is not me. I would feel, yeah, that's just not me. I kind of like this. I like that it's older and that it feels lived in. But, you know, I've got the regular kitchen, 2 sinks, which I kind of, that I'm not crazy about. And if it ever does break, I will replace it with just one big farm sink. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But I've got this right here, which slides back and forth for it. And it looks pretty old, but it works. And then I use a little basket here. This is just a little collapsible garbage can, and I reuse a plastic bag from produce, and this is just where my food garbage goes, anything wet that I don't want dripping down my regular garbage, and then I just seal this up and throw this away. It's just a good way to contain wet, smelly stuff. Reasons I really love living in a Class C is because I do cook a lot. I am cooking a lot now again. I kind of fell off on that and I was eating like crap. But I love having a full stove. I've got 3 burners. It runs on propane. And I have an oven, which I really like. I have a microwave, but I don't use it. I use it for storage because I had problems with mice. Like I said, I used to leave bags of nuts and bags of crackers and all kinds of things up in my cupboard. I don't leave anything in there anymore that the mice might get. So all of that stuff now gets stored in my microwave. And then up here, I do have the plastic bins. I don't have lids for them. I didn't buy them with lids because I like to pile them really high. So now my plastics are in one of the bins. All the Tupperware and stuff like that, it's not really Tupperware, that used to be in the microwave is now up here. Sadie treats, oils and stuff like that, coffee. I haven't had problems lately with mice getting coffee, but coffee and stuff like that. My vitamins, my bowls. I have 2 plates. Those are here. All my spices and more spices, and that's my cabinet. And I've got, you know, the typical storage underneath the sink, which is nice. It's probably a mess. It is. It's gross. But just all my cleaning supplies. I've got 3 drawers here for silverware, and the bottom one is a junk drawer for stuff, you know, just junk drawer stuff. And then down here, I have another one, and that's where I keep my kitchen towels, sponges, and things like that. Lots of storage. And I've got my RV size freezer and refrigerator, which I also love because I like to go out and boondock as long as I can. You can usually go 10 to 14 days on my 42-gallon fresh water tank. That's usually what I run out of first is water. But I love having a full refrigerator. I can buy as much produce as I need to last me 2 weeks. And then I've got stuff in the freezer. I make big pots of soup and big pots of curry and big pots of chili. And I eat it for 3 days. And then when I'm sick of it, I put the rest in the freezer. So I have easy meals just to pull out. So I love having a full-size freezer and refrigerator. That is another reason I can't live in a van. I really like having that. And one of my favorite parts of this RV, my first RV was a 29-foot. This one is a 24-foot. And the 29-foot had a separate bedroom in the back, which I thought I wanted, but I didn't need it. After living in it for a year, I decided to downsize to the 24-foot, and I don't miss the space at all. This floor plan is actually so much more open than the other one, but this is my favorite part, except for making it. I love my corner bed, and all year round, I pretty much sleep with a down alternative comforter. By the way, everything in here is pretty much from Amazon, so I'm going to put links to my store below so that you can look for everything that's in here on Amazon. And full disclosure, I am an Amazon affiliate, so whenever you shop through my store, I do get a commission, and I'll put links below so that you can check out what's in here. This bedspread came from Amazon. My down alternate comforter, which is below, came from Amazon, and that's usually, it used to be all I needed to stay warm. And I don't know if the down comforter has gotten less warm over time. I've had it a few years, but I do now also keep one of my backpacking sleeping bags here. No, I'm sorry. It's a 12-degree bag. My -14 is up there. That's the first sleeping bag I ever bought, and it's big and bulky. The first backpacking sleeping bag. So this is a 24-degree, 12 degrees limit. And at night, when it gets down into the 20s, which it has lately, or sometimes even the 30s, no, when it gets down into the 30s, I've been having to use this, even with Sadie under the covers with me. So, yeah, this is really nice to have on top of the blankets. I like a lot of blankets. Oh, yeah, and when I bought it, I had the RV blinds back here, but they didn't last long. They broke, as they do. I restrung them once, and then I wasn't going to restring them again. So I just took out the blinds and used tension rods for the curtains, and it works out really well because these window covering things, these fancy window covering things, they have ledges on the inside, so the tension rods sit on the ledge on the inside, so they're really sturdy and they're really nice. And I like having the curtains. Again, it just feels really homey with the curtains. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hi. You want to help me do the tour? You want to help? You're such a good girl. And the RV came with, with this shelf under here. There was probably a VCR or something there. Didn't do me any good, so I put this shelf up here because sometimes I sit back here and read, and I wanted a place to put my coffee or whatever. But then, you know, if I wanted to put my phone or anything when I was sleeping, it was just too far away. So I went ahead and added another, this was just a cheap cup holder that I bought, and I added this. And then I added a piece of Velcro here and a Velcro on the back of my phone. So that's nice. And then just recently I added this. I had this extra bin and it wasn't doing anything. So just a couple screws, and I can keep my glass case in here and my hand balm. And I love my moon drops to help me sleep. So yeah, another couple things that I added just to make it easier and comfortable. Of course, hanging my hats up here on my rope light. Cozy. Huh, sweet. Are you supposed to be eating that, Sadie? Sadie? Are you supposed to be eating that? I don't think so. That's garbage. Go get him. I have a ton of storage back here for more clothes than I need. My clothes, I still have way too many clothes, and I keep throwing stuff away or giving it to Goodwill, and I still have too many. But I've got the I've got the 3 big cupboards up here, and all my clothes. These are what I wear most of the time, just around camp. All my leggings and stuff like that. Mostly my casual stuff. Up here is a mess. That's where my bedding goes, and my extra covers for my cushions up in the front. And then more clothes up here. And up here, I just bought this for all my tank tops and camis, and more baskets just for clothes. I have the closet here, and I bought I think this is a shoe. No, this is just a hanging organizer for your closet. And it's got a bar to hang stuff in here, but I really just needed something for t-shirts. So this is more t-shirts, more tank tops, and you'll see it's kind of empty because I'm getting close to laundry day. But this is where I store all my t-shirts. And I've got the closet here for hanging flannels and jackets, Sadie's treats. Whole thing of Sadie's treats, because I haven't had a problem with mice in here. So another closet, tons of space. I have another drawer down here, which is where I keep my socks and underwear, you know, stuff that I need to get to every day. I've got another cabinet down here, which is where I keep all my pots and pans. Lots of storage in here. There's really a lot of room in here for the tiny space that I live in. What is it? 160 square feet I live in, and it really does have a lot of space. Okay, and over here is my bathroom sink, my vanity area, and full medicine cabinet up here, which is stock full of all my stuff. And I also have another cabinet below the sink, and yeah, that's it. Just where I bathe and stuff like that. And this privacy curtain, I replaced the one that was here because it was just ugly and got all torn apart and nasty. So I have another tension rod up here, and I hung the other curtain to the one that I use in the front. So got some symmetry going on here. And then for storage, I really love this. I bought a shoe holder. So this is just one of the holders that you buy anywhere that holds shoes. This is on the back of my bathroom door. I use it for my Ziploc bags because I do use a lot of Ziploc bags. I use it for the plastic bags for my garbage. I know that we're not really supposed to be using plastic bags, and at least I reuse them. You know, when I go into Whole Foods, it's interesting. Yeah, when I go into Whole Foods or something, I do take my own bags with me, but sometimes Walmart and stuff like that, I don't take my own bags with me, and then I use them for garbage. And honestly, if I wasn't using these bags for garbage, what would I use for garbage? Do you guys have any ideas? Yeah, actually, if you guys can give me ideas about what to use for garbage, especially considering, you know, I have to store my garbage for up to 2 weeks before I go into town, so it's harder for me to use like paper and stuff like that. But if you have any ideas, my tax receipt, there's a pouch here for my tax receipts. Once it gets full, it goes into a bigger box in my storage up there, and my hair stuff. So it just holds a lot of things that makes it really convenient to access. And that's the thing, when you're living in a tiny space, having things that you need accessible for me is really important. There's nothing like having to play like that game, that little square thing where you have to move this and then move this and then move this here to get to that. I don't have the patience for all that. So I like the things that I use the most easily accessible. Of course, the bathroom. And in here I have a full bathroom with just the regular toilet. I don't have a composting toilet. If I ever have to replace it, I'll get a composting toilet. I have a shower in here, which I don't use very often. I mostly just bathe, and so I use the shower for storage. Most of the time I hang more clothes in there. My dirty laundry goes in there. Sadie's food goes in there. And so that's the bathroom. And there's my Sadie. Hi, Sadie girl. What do you say? What do you say? You like our home, don't you? And I got more storage up here. This one, I just switched things around because I was putting canned goods and stuff up here and I was afraid it was too heavy. So I switched the canned goods to underneath one of the cushions here. I'll show you in a minute. And this is just office stuff. And yeah, just my office stuff, various things that I need for work. And then up here, I have mostly, I have some kitchen stuff, mostly, I do see some heavy things up here, but it's mostly baking stuff, my flours and things like that, because I do like to bake. Some more spices up here. And then, of course, my favorite part of all of this is my remodel. This really transformed my small home from an RV into, it really feels like a tiny apartment in here. Huh, don't you think? And Sadie loves it. It gives her a nice place to hang out at night, huh? So, I'm not going to talk about, okay, can you settle? Can you settle? Come on, settle. Lay down. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. If you want to see the full remodel, what I did, how I did it all myself. I tore out the table and the benches, and I repurposed everything from what was originally here. I didn't buy anything new, and I really like it. It's really comfortable. And that one thing that I added recently is this on Amazon. It's a footstool with storage inside. So this gives me extra width to hang out and lounge, especially with Sadie, because Sadie hogs the whole thing. And it's also storage, so this is really nice. I love this. Also, when my friend comes to visit me, this, along with the basket that's here with some pillows in it and the back cushion on top of it, it gives her a wider bed so that she's got a really nice, comfortable, wide bed to sleep on, because I did lose the whole kind of bed configuration when I changed this, and I thought just one cushion might be wide enough, but it's kind of just a little too constricting trying to sleep on the one cushion. So with the footstool here and the basket and putting a cushion on top of it, it makes almost a double-sized bed, and it's really nice for company. So this is I love this, and there is storage underneath. This is all my dry goods food storage underneath the new bench that I built, and everything is in jars because I had mice, so I put everything in jars so that it's safe from mice. And I have storage still under this bench. This bench didn't change, and that's just paperwork. 7 years of paperwork. And a couple baskets of storage under there, my coffee grinder and my NutriBullet, stuff that I use more often. I have the ledge here so that I can move the table over if I want. You can see the video for that, but this is the workspace that I created. And this is nice. This is where I work all day, and I don't mind sitting sideways. It's actually pretty comfortable, but I can move the table if I want over to the middle and use the other side of the couch here as a bench. But this is where I work, and I really like it. And then at night I just turn it around and I lounge back there to watch TV. Sadie and I watch TV on the laptop. I put up a little shelf here for my external speaker because the laptop doesn't sound very good, so my external speaker, you know, it's just a simple, very primitive shelf. I found I found these at a campsite. Somebody had left them behind as firewood that they didn't burn, and I picked up a bunch of them, and I figured, you know, with this being a work in progress, I figured I would pick them up, and I have used them. I use them over here for a shelf for storage under there, and then I just put up, I had these brackets. I just hung up a couple brackets. They're not even straight. and it's nice because I can disassemble it when I'm traveling. But it usually actually stays, even on the bumpy roads. So that's it. It's just a primitive shelf, but it works. Utilitarian. That's all I need. I don't need stuff to be pretty. You know, doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to work. And so this is, I love this. And then with the footstool, you know, I could just sit here like this and just lounge. What do you think, Sadie? I haven't done anything with this chair. I don't mind this chair. I don't sit in here a whole lot anymore, especially since I rebuilt that. But I don't know. Maybe someday I'll replace this chair, but I haven't so far. It's fine. It's comfortable. I love my little home. I love the 24-foot Winnebago. It's got a Ford E450 Super Duty V10 6.8 liter engine, and it's been a great RV. 2005, I bought it with 57,000 miles on it. I'm at 98,000 miles now. The only thing I have had to replace other than regular maintenance is the fuel pump. I think that's it. You know, brakes, tires. Yeah, and the fuel pump. And I recently just had a transmission flush. Of course, I get regular oil changes every 5,000 miles. Is that really all I've had to do on this rig? Was the I think it is. And yeah, the roof needs a little work. I'll probably end up having to replace the roof. My awning broke, so maybe I'll replace the awning. I haven't decided yet. And the generator, it worked the day I bought it. I don't think it worked. It worked maybe for a couple of days after I bought it. It never worked again. It barely worked when it was in the lot. So that was the other thing. So it's been a really, really, really good RV. I had to replace the refrigerator because I shook it to death on the Dalton Highway. Check the video out up here on the Dalton Highway. I literally shook it to death. The cooling unit came apart from the refrigerator. So that was just, you know, wear and tear. Okay, so that's the inside of my RV after living in it for 3 years. This is what a lived-in RV looks like. I've seen so many Instagram photos of van life and RV life, and they're perfectly clean and pristine and very minimalist, and I'm like, where's your stuff? Where's your coffee maker? Where's your coffee cups? Where's your computer? Where's your, you know, your bedding? And so this is what it looks like lived in. I did clean it up a little bit. I'm telling you, it's so hard to keep it clean. I sweep every day. I have a new little Shark vacuum. I'll talk about that in another video. And just with the dust and everything and liking to keep the windows open, it's just the small space. I heard somebody else say this recently. Living in a small space means you have less to clean, but you have to clean more often because everything just gets dirty because you're on the road, you're on the move, and the dust and everything, and so things get dirty faster, and just living in a small space, a little bit of dirt looks like a lot. So that's 3 years living in this RV. I hope you enjoyed seeing a sneak peek inside my home and even inside my cupboards. And thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I've got more RV and life coming up, so be sure to subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and I will see you next time. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. Mwah! Bye.